Hey youth, I'm Austin, and today we're finishing our series on Moses. We're glad you're here. Let's get started. So there was this one time, back when I was 10, I was helping my dad work at a job site. We were supposed to build like a mailbox or something, and I saw this huge field of mud. And my dad pulls me over and he's like, "Hey, I know you really want to go play in that mud, but we got to stick to this job." And of course, what do? I leave him and go and play in the awesome mud pit. I got so dirty. I don't think I've ever been that dirty in my life. But then when I try to get out, I am stuck, man. I lost both of my shoes and my dad had to get me out. He was upset. Sometimes that happens in life. You get stuck. You get stuck in your sin and you get stuck in your circumstances. But today, we're going to see that God is here to help you get unstuck. We see this in the story of Moses. Moses and the Israelites were stuck and things looked hopeless for them. Moses and the people needed to be rescued. Remember, the Israelites were slaves in Egypt, and Moses kept going to Pharaoh asking that they be freed. But Pharaoh never gave up. He didn't want his Israelite slaves to leave Egypt. So God brought 10 plagues to Egypt to change his mind. The plagues were pretty terrible. They had to eat IHOP every day and watch Breaking Dawn over and over. Okay, but the plagues were actually bad. Water turned to blood, the animals and farms in Egypt were destroyed, and the final plague had Pharaoh's firstborn son killed. So after the final plague, Pharaoh decides to give his Israelites up. But that's not the end of the story. Because later, Pharaoh changed his mind. At first, Pharaoh releases the Israelites and lets them go. But later, he changes his minds. In the end, he really didn't want to give up his slaves. When word reached the king of Egypt that the Israelites had fled, Pharaoh and his officials changed their minds. "What have we done, letting all those Israelite slaves get away?" they asked. So Pharaoh sends his army after them. The Israelites panic and flee to the Red Sea. But then they're trapped by the Egyptian army and the sea. But that's when God steps in. God delivers his people. This is when God does something no one saw coming. He parts the Red Sea with a huge gust of wind, allowing the Israelites a pathway to safety. But once the Egyptian army goes through, Moses closes the Red Sea. God delivers his people. So the sun began to rise, Moses raised his hand over the sea, and the water rushed back into its usual place. The Egyptians tried to escape, but the Lord swept them into the sea. Not only did God save the Israelites, but he killed the whole Egyptian army. Now I know this is hard to picture, but it looked just like this.
Behold his mighty hand!
So, what does this story mean for us? God will deliver you from your sin. The Exodus is an amazing story. It teaches us that God wants to rescue us. Just like the Israelites, some of you are trapped in slavery right now. Some of you are trapped in addiction or sinful habits or maybe even negative thinking. And when you're stuck in this sin, it feels like there's no way out. But God is here to deliver you. And the good news, he will, if you ask him for help. God is our refuge and strength, always ready to help in times of trouble. If you are struggling with your sin, bring your problems to God. Ask God for help and he will help you. And talk to other people in your life, like your mentors or people you trust in small group, and be honest about what you're struggling with and what you're going through. Let them pray for you and hold you accountable. This is one of the many ways God delivers us, is through the help of other people. Don't go through your problems alone or just ignore them. Let God rescue you like he rescued Moses and the Israelites.